it's funny, I get to have a conversation with somebody I've looked up to for so long. We haven't really had a chance to ever really sit down and chop, but it's dope that it's on the round table. We got Nicky Diamonds, San Francisco, you know what I'm saying? A real Bay Area boy in the building today.
Right on. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me, dude.
Man, you know, I look up to you, bro.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
I definitely try to study the book of what a successful brand rollout looks like. You know what I mean?
On, man. Well, I admire everything you're doing, dude. I've been watching you, and it's like crazy. Proud of you, dude. Bay Area guy, just, you know, making things happen. It's awesome.
So born and raised in SF?
Yeah, man. Born and raised in San Francisco. Yeah, I just grew up there skateboarding my whole life, and moved to LA in 2000.
2000.
So 19 years in LA now.
19 years in LA.
It's crazy, flew by.
How has it been hard to like adapt to the change of lifestyle out here?
No, not really. At first, yes, of course. At first, it was just really different. But when I first moved to LA, I was like, I'm going to move to LA for a year, get my company going, and then move back to San Francisco. But then, you know, the way business goes, doesn't happen as fast as you think it's going to.
Nah,
so
it drags out for sure.
Yeah. So I ended up staying, man. You know, I used to go back to San Francisco like every couple weeks. But, you know, over the years, it just got less and less. And, you know, you just become more of like, this became home, you know, because it's like my business. And skateboarding, obviously, was really big in the 90s in San Francisco. And it's just not as much as it is of a culture and industry here in LA.
Yeah. Nah, you got a few spots in the city where they just go crazy.
Yeah.
Right there by the Haight, you know, and downtown and, you know,
there's parks and stuff.
There's parks, but there's not as much land in SF. SF's a small place,
and people can't afford to live there anymore. So
it's gentrified as a motherfucker.
There's not a lot of youth there. That's the problem.
Before you did clothes, I know you were skating. I know you played with like a bearing company. Or how did Diamond, like, Diamond is one of the brands that when you look at, you're still you haven't sold to anybody yet. You haven't. I know you've had crazy offers. Like when you look at brands and building like a clothing brand, I mean, you're one of the ones up there, and I think you're responsible for a lot of the clothing brands, such as myself, that's out there today. So I want to give the people that are listening, because, you know, our listeners are definitely entrepreneur-driven, and I like to think of you as one of my mentors. Even though we haven't had a chance to actually chop, I've definitely watched the whole process. So kind of want to like break down the story of how you started, and then when you really knew you had something.
Yeah. Well, right on. Thanks, man. But I started, you know, it all began just from being a skater, being a sponsored skateboarder and all that, and, you know, running with all my friends at Embarcadero in San Francisco, EMB. We, you know, all my friends are pro skaters. Everyone rode for different companies. I really just started, I was always into clothes. That was my thing. I was always into sneakers and clothes, even though I was a skater. You know, a lot of skaters don't care about that stuff, but I was always into that. So these companies that I rode for, I would kind of just start giving them ideas for clothes and things. And then when they would make them, they would just happen to do good, the things that I designed. So I came up with an idea for skateboard hardware, just making nuts and bolts, because I thought that would be really cool, because all my friends were sponsored by all these different companies. And when you ride for all these companies, it's like not everyone was on the same team, right? So I was like, why don't I do something that everyone can be on the same skate team? So I'll make hardware, because none of my friends had bolt sponsors. So I was like, I'll just do this thing and call it Diamond, and everyone could be on the same skate team.
How'd you come with the name? The name's a hitter. How'd you come with the name Diamond?
That was the name. It was hard to think of at first. I was trying for like, you know, maybe about a month or something. I was like, damn, man, I can't really think of a name. But then I heard a song on the radio, which was Smooth Operator by Sade. And at the beginning of the song, she says Diamond Life. And I remember it distinctly, too. I was cruising. We were cruising in the Tenderloin, me and my boy. And it was crazy just how it happened, because we were talking about, you know, how crazy the area was at the time. Because this is like in 97, 98, and, you know, it was all like crackheads and prostitutes and everyone just walking around. And I was like, man, it's so crazy. over here all the time. And then that song came on, and she says Diamond Life right at the beginning. And I was like, yeah, fuck this shit. Let's live the Diamond Life, right? And I'm like, I'm going to call the brand that. I was like, I'm going to call it Diamond. So that's how it started.
That's a good way. Do you think the city in general gave you a certain, like, did it give you something, like, as far as creativity? I mean, I feel like the city has created so many big things. You look at, like, Levi's, you look at Diamond, you look at, you know, the weed brands and the strains of weed that's come out of the city. A lot of things, I feel like it bursts a different style of creativity. Did the city have a lot of influence on you? Like you said, the Tenderloin. The Tenderloin is many. For those listening, the Tenderloin is a neighborhood in the city where literally when you pull off the freeway, you feel like you're in a whole nother world. Motherfuckers is smoking crack, selling crack, shooting heroin. There's prostitutes. There's massage parlors. There's just all out underground shady ass business. But that's the kind of shit where you'll walk from that into the Embarcadero where it's all business and high rises and things will change within like minutes.
Yeah.
Did the city give you a certain creativity, you feel like?
Of course, man. That's what all my designs are about, is just my environment that I grew up in, you know? It's like, and everyone that I grew up around and all the different things, you know, like especially in skateboarding in San Francisco, there were so many people that are into different things. Like, you know, have your kids that are all into like rock and roll or punk rock or hip hop, people from all different cultures. You know, all my friends were like Filipino or black or Hispanic or, you know, Chinese. Like we all skated together at Embarcadero. So
hella diverse ass city for sure.
Yeah, super diverse. So I would be around all these different cultures and people all the time, and just, you know, from people that listen to different music, dress differently. It just, you know, it just kind of breeded a style for me to kind of make my own style with Diamond. It made me super creative. I always wanted to just make shit. And I guess that's why people like Diamond, because when it came out, it was different than anything that they saw at the time.
And you had a colorway.
And the colorway, but that came not until 2005.
Oh, it came in 2005.
Yeah, with the Nike Tiffany Dunk.
Got it. So
yeah.
The colorway was created with the Dunk.
Yeah. Which,
man, we seen recently. Them shoes created a lot of fucking hype at Complex Con.
Yeah, right on.
You had people boxing
in
line waiting for the shoes, which is flattering if you think about it. I mean, you build something so powerful that people are, one, waiting for it, and two, trying to fight over it. Like that shit was, and then it happened again in another drop, right?
Yeah, so that's how it went down, really, is, you know, because everyone was waiting, because we did our first Nike release in 2005, which was the Diamond Tiffany Dunk, and then that created tons of hype, which I was surprised about it, you know, because we were just a skateboard brand. But then once I did the collab with Nike, it like catapulted us into a whole nother genre of fans. There was like sneakerheads and streetwear dudes were all like, oh shit, what's this Diamond thing? You know, this is crazy. So that helped us a lot. And then in 2013 or 14, we did the high top version. And that did really well too. I just feel like it could have done a lot better, but only because I didn't know when it was coming out and they didn't tell me. And they were like, I went to a meeting and they were like, I was like, so when am I getting the sample of the shoe? They're like, what do you mean? It comes out in like 3 days. And I was
no
like,
time to hype it up or brand it or market it, nothing.
But nothing. So that's as fast as I found out when it was coming out. And it still did good and sold out and stuff, but I feel like it could have had more excitement. But I mean, I love that shoe. I love the high top. It was super sick. So, you know, that was in 2014. So now in 2018, when I had the chance to do another collaboration, they let me do 3 different colorways of the low top. So I kind of played it off of the original design, just with the new colors, like a canary yellow, a black diamond, and a white diamond. Yeah,
the yellow one was going crazy on the internet.
Yeah, like, that's the one that everyone was tripping on Complex Con.
Yeah, a lot of cats that I follow that are huge influencers were definitely asking politely via social media. And I feel like anytime you get on the internet and you ask somebody instead of just texting them or calling them, you really want it. So
yeah, well, that one, you know, we only did 250 pairs of the yellow. So that was really a friends and family release, but I was like, you know what? Everyone's going crazy after I posted on the internet, so I want to drop them, right? So I wanted to drop 100 pairs or 150 pairs at Complex Con, just so the fans could get them, because I was just going to give them out to all the homies, but I decided that I wanted to drop them, and people knew that. And when we did Complex Con, yeah, it caused a riot the first day, and then the second day, and we couldn't sell the shoes. And then the second day, there was another riot, and it was even worse, which was crazy because we had tons of security. But we had to get a police escort to escort the shoes out of the building. And we couldn't even sell them. We had like legit cops with guns, like rolling the shoes out of the building. And it was crazy. And people were like trying to figure out how they were gonna like bum rush and shit. And it was like, this is crazy over some sneakers. But hey, man, that's the culture, right?
I mean, that's what a powerful brand is.
Yeah.
It's in demand. People want it. They'll do whatever they have to do to get it. You know, for the people that are listening right now, and I want to write a book soon called How to Build a Brand, because I feel like with Cookies and with a couple other companies I'm involved with, there's a whole math and a science behind it. But a lot of people ask me all the time, like, yo, I want to do my own thing. And I embrace everybody coming into any kind of business that I'm in, because it's dope. It's incentive for me to stay dope. And it's cool to watch people, you know, learn and be entrepreneurs and to follow their dream. How important is having their identity? So, like, the one thing I feel like you hit it on the head with was you got the diamond and you have the script logo. How important is it for a company to find its identity and to stick with it, though, right?
Yeah, I think like a logo's everything, right? I feel like most brands, they're still running with their very first logo, brands that are popular, you know, like if you look at Supreme, their box logo, that was like the original logo. Ralph Lauren, you know, the horse, the jockey. Tommy Hilfiger has the, you know, the American flag type of colorway logo. I mean, things that are, you know, they're just like classic. Like we, you know, from the gate, we did with Sketch, we did the... Shout
out to Al Fresco.
Yeah.
Al Fresco is my brother for life. He's one of my favorite smoking partners in the world. Creative San Francisco artist. He actually did the Cookies calligraphy, like the C logo, the circle C bite.
Oh, dope. I didn't know he did that one.
Yeah, he did that.
Tight.
And he also did my Hemp 2O logo with me. He did my Lemonade logo. He did the Taylor Gang logo. He did Wiz Khalifa's KK logo. And I think he's must have done my Battle App logo. That's who I picked to keep, like, when I do a bigger project, I use him. And he always told me stories about you guys being in his mom's house.
Yeah.
And you telling him you wanted a diamond, and he was drawing it with you. And that you told him you guys were writing on the paper the script logo, and you guys were fucking with it together, and, you know, him being a part of that process. So...
Yeah, that's how it went down. It was actually from my figuring out the name from the Sade song. The very next day, I hit Al in the morning, and I was like, "Hey, man, I have an idea for a name." And he's like, "Come over and let's fuck with it right now." And I was like, "All right."
He's the best, bro. His vibe is great. Like, when he comes over, this boy will come to the house, and he'll pull out a little Cuddy speaker. It's either a small one or long. He has some kind of little musical device. And he rolls out his little weed kit. He wants to roll one. He wants to get high first. Then comes the jazz and the food order. And we'll have food, jazz, and weed, and we'll just start designing. But for him, it's a whole, like it's a vibe with him.
Really is.
He wants to make sure that we're vibing.
And he's always been like that. See, because I was always into clothes and graphic design as well, but I didn't know how to do it. I didn't even know how to use a computer back then. But I used to go to like Academy Art with him just to, when he was having his class, because he went there, and just trip on what he was doing. I was like, damn, this is tight, man. You know, I didn't have money to afford school or anything. I was like, how are you even paying for this? But he was there, man, at Academy of Art. So then he would basically kind of school me at his house and teach me how to learn how to do graphics and stuff. And that's when I went over there, he was just like, hey, why don't you just hand write diamond 5 times on a piece of paper? So I did that. I wrote it 5 times, and then he scanned it into the computer. And I was like, that looks tight. And then I was just like, put Supply Co. underneath, because I didn't know how to do it at the time.
Yeah.
And then he put Supply Co. underneath. But it was his idea to hand write it, and that ended up being the logo that we use today.
It's clean.
First thing that we ever did.
It's classic. It's original. It's San Francisco street art at its finest, you know?
Yeah, right on.
How did you, you know, one of the things when I was coming up as an artist rapping, I seen all the rappers getting their diamond boxes. And I was like, damn, bro, I need mine. And I had a video of Chris Brown. and that's actually the first time I ever wore cookies was in that video. I created the brand because of that video. I knew it was me, Chris Brown, Wiz Khalifa, and Big Crit. It was a big record for me, and I created my brand. And what was the first time I really printed a dope ass hoodie? I put the blue cookies with the blue strings through it on the black, but I wanted my diamond box. And Brock at the time, I think was rocking with you guys, got me a fat ass box.
Dope.
And when I got it, I was like, damn, I'm tapped in now, because I'd be at Wiz's house and he would get it, and the whole crew would be fitted. I'd be like, damn, bro, how could I get in? And I seen, Spitta got it. And I mean, it's important, like when building any company, to have relevant voices actually juice to get your shit. I remember seeing Wiz on full tours rocking that shit.
Yeah, man.
Proudly fired up.
Yeah, and much love to Wiz, dude. I love that guy. He that all really happened organically. The whole thing, everything with the whole, the music scene and people wearing diamond. It started even way back when I very first started making T-shirts. Chewy Gomez from San Francisco.
Shout out to Chewy.
Yeah, when he was KML and he had the California Music Channel. He was the host on the California Music Channel, and he would always ask me for gear, and he was actually rocking it on it's just a Bay Area TV show where they play like rap videos and shit, and he'd be wearing the diamond sweatshirts and T-shirts like right when I came out with the brand, and I was like, damn, this is tight. Like, damn, people are wearing it on TV, even though it was local, right? Mm-hmm. To me, that was like a huge big deal.
Yeah, Chewy's a legend where we're from.
Yeah, of course, man. And then, San Quinn lived in my neighborhood, so I would give him shit. And he was wearing diamond. He was like my first guy that was like, to me was like the biggest rapper in the world. He's from San Francisco, and he was always rocking diamond. So then when I moved to LA, that's all I really had was him. He was kind of like a brand loyalist. I would always hook Quinn up. And then, years later, after the Nike Dunk came out, I started messing with Currency. I met him through Terry Kennedy, pro skater. They were homies, and then he was like a diamond fan, and he was always, so I started hooking him up with diamond stuff, and then from there that's where Wiz came along. I remember I went to South by Southwest, and
when it was still cracking.
Yeah, so this is early South by Southwest. This is when Wiz. This is way before Black and Yellow. This is like, early Wiz. This dude hit me up on I don't even know what it was back then, maybe MySpace or something, I don't know, but he's like, hey man, this Wiz Khalifa dude is at our store, and he just bought a diamond sweatshirt, and he just sent a picture of him like with a diamond sweatshirt, and I was like, oh, it's tight. And then that night I just happened to go to a showcase, and Wiz was there, and he was rocking the party, and he was rocking the hoodie. So I was like, oh shit. So I came up to him, I'm like, yeah man, I'm Nick from Diamond, blah blah blah. We exchanged info. Brock was there too, and that's how we ended up hooking up with Wiz, and we ended up doing a big collaboration with him. And that's what's crazy, is that in their world, like Currency and Wiz, they were so connected at the time too, and Taylor Gang and Jet Life, and they were rocking it. But when Wiz dropped the Black and Yellow video, was like right when we did our collab. I didn't know that song existed, but just because he was from Pittsburgh, when I did the collection, I just made it all black and yellow, it
happened naturally
because that's their color.
Yeah.
So then when the song came out, he like dropped it like maybe a month after our collab came out, but in their whole video they're all wearing our collab.
Yeah, that shit was huge.
Yeah, and that was like his breakthrough song, right? Yeah. So I was like, oh shit. And that's how like Diamond and Wiz and Currency, we all kind of like blew up at the same time. And with Rick Ross too, we were doing collabs with Rick Ross at the time. So I think it was mainly those guys that really propelled Diamond into that whole scene.
And the color pops. Like, I remember exactly which crew neck you're talking about, which sweater he was rocking, and when he first got it. I remember it looking so clean. That motherfucker just popped hard on that black. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right on.
It was a standout. I think that's important. Do you feel like the internet had a lot to do with building the brand too?
Oh, definitely. It was all internet. Because back then, like from 2006, I believe, 2006, I ended up getting on the Hypebeast forums. Bobby Hundreds actually was like, hey man, you should get on these forums and like talk to the kids, because I'm on there and I noticed that there's a lot of fans of Diamond. I'm like, really? Are they skaters? You know, 'cause I don't know. And he's like, no man, they're just like streetwear kids. And I was like, oh shit. So I went on there, and you could start your own thread. So I started this Diamond Supply Co. thread, and next thing you know, it just blew up. I would be on there all day. I would literally be on there when I woke up in the morning. I'd be at work, but I'd be talking to all the kids, like posting new pictures of shit, not thinking anything of it. Yeah, and next thing you know, we had like the biggest thread on Hypebeast for like years, and that's where all my fans were, and that's when I started dropping shit online. Because I'd be like, oh, I'm going to drop stuff online, and it would sell out because my whole fan base was all these like Hypebeast forum kids.
Yeah, online presence is like probably one of the biggest, most important things too. You know, if you're going to build something, you're going to promote it. If you're going to have artists supporting it, you have to have your online presence, not just internet, but the e-commerce. Like you have to have your website flawless. You have to have fulfillment. I've had some nightmares as a clothing owner with fulfillment. I've learned the hard way.
Yeah,
you have to do it right. My Instagram was going crazy one day. This kid's like, fuck you, bitch. I ordered my shit a month ago. I fucking hate you. And there's all these kids that are like, me too. And I remember refunding back probably like, it was like $17,000 worth of clothes. Like, everyone, here's your money back, and I'm still gonna send the shirts out.
Yeah,
you know,
that's dope.
I've taken some losses, but it also taught me too, like, you have to take this shit seriously.
Yeah. Well, dude, you've done good, man. I love what you've done with Cookies. It's crazy. You really built it into a real brand, dude. And
passionate about it, bro. Yeah. Like, we were talking about it all week with everyone I've had here. That, like, basically, if you're passionate about something, if you care about it and you're hands on, you'll make it pop. And I also was blessed to be an independent Frisco boss. Like, being in Frisco, you learn business. Mm-hmm. You know, soaking up game from the San Quins, the JT, the Bigger Figures, watching you do Diamond, understanding that having a colorway, an identity, a logo, and me being a rapper, I felt like it was almost, that was kind of like the thing that helped it, the internet, the music, and knowing how to build a brand.
Yeah, dude, honestly. Like, San Francisco bred us like that, right? Yeah. It was the music was everything. Ain't no game like Frisco game.
Ain't no game like Frisco game. Yes, sir. What's one of your favorite collabs you guys have done? I know you guys have done a lot. Like, a lot of collabs.
Yeah.
Some crazy ones, actually.
Some of my first ones I really like, you know, when I look back on them, like the Wiz Khalifa one, just because of what it did and what it meant to the brand. Currency ones, Nike, of course. You know, that's what really, you know, set us off outside of just skateboarding. So that was like, you know, my favorite, of course. Anything I do at Nike now, you know, I love them for even giving me the opportunity. So
I mean, it's legendary working with Nike.
Yeah, it's like, you know, the biggest company in the world to me. Being a sneakerhead, you know, it's like, holy shit, I got my own Nike shoe. Like, this is crazy. You know, like, when that happened, I was like, is this really happening? Like,
it's goals.
Wow. Yeah, so, I don't know, man. Like, recently we did a Basquiat collection, which was really cool.
Shit.
Because, you know, I'm a big art fan, and being able to, you know, work with his estate, they had to approve everything. And I did everything from jackets to T-shirts, you know, hoodies, hats, everything. And it was just really cool being able to use all of his works, because they gave us probably like 700 images of his art that I could use.
That's wild.
Yeah, so
that's mafia.
So I went in, right? And I just did like this crazy collection. And what was super dope about it also was that the Broad Museum in downtown LA actually carried it in their gift shop. So I was like, this is crazy, right? I got my Basquiat stuff I designed inside the Broad, and they have just paintings in there. So that was really cool, man. I mean,
it's life goal shit.
Yeah, that was a goal.
As a designer, as someone that's putting, you know, good vibe and good shit out there as a brand, to be able to collab with something like that and to have an actual store, which means they didn't just look for a check, they actually embraced it and wanted to help bring light to it, you know, outside of your own box, which that's tight, dude.
Yeah, man. It's really exciting.
How many times they try to buy you, Nick, man? Bro, like, how do you... I mean, I need to hear, you know, just for myself.
Well, you know, when Diamond first started blowing up, it was crazy. There's just, you know, people... But, you know, it's not like... I just don't feel like at the time when people wanted to buy the brand that I was ready, because then it's like, if I'm not going to be on full time, what am I gonna do? Like, it's my love, it's my dream, it's all I know at this point. It's 21 years this year of Diamond.
21 years.
So
That's mafia.
it's crazy. So it's like, this is what I do. It's what I love. I make enough money. I've made enough money over the years to not really worry about trying to sell it, I guess. I mean, obviously, if I sold it, I would make a shit ton more money. But I'm just that type of dude, man. Like, I'll start a different type of business or something, you know? Like, if I'm really, like, wanting to make, like, $1 billion, maybe I'll just try to do some other things and just keep Diamond.
It's hard to keep things. I mean, people have been trying to buy me for the last few months, not a long time, but they've been trying to buy the whole brand, not just the clothing, but the weed business itself and everything we build. And I can't let it go either right now. I'm like, dude, I'm just getting started. Yeah. And I enjoy it.
I'm 21 years in, and I feel like I'm still getting started.
Are you still hella hands-on with the design?
Everything,
Me
bro.
too. I can't, like, I have to look at everything.
Yeah.
And I have to argue with designers and artists. And
So I'm our head designer. I've been forever. There was like 3 years, a few years ago, that I hired more of a design team and was letting people handle it. But then I didn't really like the direction the brand was going. So now I've been back in there just designing everything. I do like 90%, maybe more than 90% of all the t-shirt graphics, all the cut and sew, everything I design it myself. I just love it, dude. It's just what I do. I've been doing it for so long. It's like, if I wasn't doing it, I don't know what I'd be doing. I'd be bored as fuck.
It's also the way I look at it. If I'm not overlooking every design, if I'm not giving my input and giving, like, you know, themes for the designers to go out and create, then it's not me. It's not Cookies, right?
Yeah.
And even though I don't know how to personally design, I don't get up there and do it. But we come up with every concept, every change, every colorway. I mean, I draw out so ghetto on a napkin and a piece of paper how I want something to look, and to have artists be able to recreate that. I feel like I am a designer, but that's the whole passion of it. Like, the money's cool. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy the bread.
Yeah, we all love money, man. Yeah, everyone does. We need to survive.
But it's better when you make money doing what you love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
What's the best? What's your favorite car you got? I know my boy Dana be working on the cars. I know I've seen some wild shit. The name Nick Diamond, you could definitely tell you lived up to the name because you've been living good, and I know you like watches and cars. Man. But I want to know what your favorite car is and the story behind it.
As of right now, my favorite car that I've probably had it for about 5 years now, is a 1969 Chevelle with a 572 motor in it. It's just a beast. And why I love it so much is just being a kid in San Francisco. You know, I see all the OGs rolling in the old schools.
All our OGs in Frisco got the old school Chevys, bro.
Yeah.
I don't drive, which is fucked up, but if I drove, I'm damn near, I mean, I damn near have to get an old school Chevy regardless, because all my OGs got them.
Yeah, so that was the thing. I'd always see everyone driving them, and I'd be like, damn, man. And they'd all be so pretty, right? Back then, 'cause people were like candy painting them and all this shit. I'd be like, fuck, man, how can I ever get one of those? Like, it seemed like out of reach. But then my boy, actually, it's a funny story because he's a pro skater, Richard Paez. He lives in Visalia. Way back in the day, he had this Chevelle. And I always be like, damn, man, that car's so sick. And then as years went by, I hit him up, and I'm like, hey, man, you want to sell the Chevelle? And I kept asking him. I probably asked him like 5 or 6 times over like 10 years or something. And then one day he just hit me up. He's like, hey, man, like, I'm going to get rid of this car if you want it. And I was like, I'll be there tomorrow, bro. I went down there and got it, but it was just tight because it was his, but it was fucked up. Like, he's like, you know, he's this Mexican kid. He's kind of gangster. You know, he had it all fucking, you know, he had a chain steering wheel on it. And, you know, he had like, it looked like it should have been on hydraulics type of car, right? And it was all rusted out, but just getting it from him. And I bought it off him for cheap as hell. I bought it for like $10,000. Shipped it back here to LA. And then I have my boy in Orange County. He builds cars. He helped me build it. And it took about a year and 150 to 180,000 or something to build the damn thing, but the way that I wanted it.
It'll keep its value though.
I don't think so.
Really?
Nah. It's like, that's the thing about old schools. I feel like if you're gonna build it yourself, you're better off. You can buy one, right? Like, I could probably buy one just like mine for like 80 to 100. but when you're paying for the labor and all that shit, it's like, it's kind of tough. But it was more like I just wanted to make my ultimate old school, so I did. So that's my pride and joy, is that one. It's sick, man.
I want to see it. I know I've seen a few things. I know you got some crazy ass foreigns too. You got some dope foreigns.
Yeah.
I want to kind of go back to 21 years though, because let's think about it. Let's, like, for the people listening right now, and a lot of them ask me how to build a brand and ask me for advice. I'm gonna ask you for some advice. Staying relevant for 21 years. Like, how many other clothing lines out there right now, whether it be streetwear or regular, have been on for 21 years? Not hella, bro. It's like maybe two hands. As far as like streetwear goes, like we've seen a lot of big brands come and go. Even like some of the more urban ones.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was brands that were cracking, and they just fell. How the hell have you kept this shit rolling for 21 years?
I feel that staying in touch with the fans, dude. That's what it is. Just like talking to them and paying attention to what's going on. Especially being from skateboarding, I sponsor a big skateboarding team, and a lot of them are young guys, so I'm always around them, so I feel like they keep me young, so I've never been like this old dude that didn't know what was going on. Like, I'm always around them like every day, so I'm kind of just still part of the culture, even though I'm an older dude. But it's really getting online, talking to the kids. Like, I don't really go hard on my page talking to people in the comments, but a lot of people hit me on DM, and I talk to them and give them like advice.
It's got to be that you're hands on too, because if you weren't hands on, then I don't know if it would have lasted 21 years.
I'm 100% brand, dude. Like, I'm all in it.
Yeah.
I'm there every day at the office designing, working with my team, just coming up with crazy shit that we make. It's just what I do. So yeah, I've never given up on the brand. That's the thing. I always act like it's brand new. Like, every season's like I'm dropping my first collection. That's how I feel.
What do you feel about the city right now? The shit's fucked up.
The city's different, man. It's like when I go there, I feel like I'm in another place, but I'm not, because I still have like my memories of the city, and I still think of it as the same way, even though I know that it's not.
So gentrified.
Yeah,
like,
people can't even afford to live there.
Like, the neighborhoods are not the same as San Francisco. The quality of people there, no disrespect to the ones that came in, are not the same.
Yeah.
And like, I feel the culture of the city and the old vibe, like even the slang, and just, man, San Francisco is a really wild place to grow up in. And just going into the neighborhoods I grew up in, and seeing this fucking nothing but crazy ass high end boutiques of, I don't even know what the fuck these brands are. Yeah. Replacing the old school coffee shop, the old school crazy. Little, donut spot, the old school little hat lady, you know what I mean? Like, everything has just been fucked up. It's crazy how fast SF has changed.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've lived all over the city, so I've seen it all. I lived on Silver Mission. I lived on 24th in York. I've lived over on, in the Fillmore for a long time, on Divisadero and Fell, and on Fulton and Pierce, and that whole area. And all those neighborhoods that I used to live in, you couldn't even really go there. It was
you could not go there.
You couldn't even walk
24th
down the street.
in York was turned up.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, for sure.
Yeah, man.
And Silver Mission, it was trappy too.
Yeah. So, I mean, we grew up around that and seeing that. So now when I go to San Francisco, it's just a trip, man. You would never know. Like, people probably go to San Francisco, and I mean, it is one of the most beautiful cities in the world, but they didn't know about like the grit and grime of what it really was, and what the whole city was built on was like.
Bay Area is independent pioneers, the home of independent pioneer for like the music and for everything. But I also feel like we call it the players' graveyard too. Meaning, like, it's hard to be successful in the Bay Area.
It really is. Like,
if we were, I got a place in LA, and I spend most of my time in the Bay, but I spend a lot of time here. But being out here, and it's the same here too. You got to be careful how you flex, but in the Bay Area in general, it's really hard to be successful.
Yeah, no disrespect to the city, but
no disrespect to the city.
If I didn't move to LA, I don't know if Diamond would have made it as far as it did. In all reality,
it's hard. It's a small city, and everyone knows each other, and it's hard when someone actually get in a position like. A lot of my friends, and if you're my homie and you're listening now, I love you to death, and I'll do as much as I can. But you have to understand the amount of time, energy, stress, and our life that goes into this business. it's hard to just take care of everyone sometimes. So it's tough. Like, you know, I got to give you much props, not only for keeping the brand alive for 21 years, but staying invested like mentally into it, because being on and being in the spotlight, being from San Francisco, that's a big challenge.
Yeah, for
alone.
sure. Yeah, man. I mean, it's a blessing. I mean, still, man, I'll wake up and be like, man, this really happened. Like, I'm really like living this life that I used to dream about when I was a little kid, you know? Out on the block with my friends, riding on our skateboards, being little fucking hooligans, like just what we did, you know? We didn't think, like, we didn't think past, like, you know, drinking a 40 and smoking a blunt out at EMB and riding our skateboards. That was it. Like, there was no, like, this is what our life was, and who knew what the future would hold. But then, yeah, man.
I miss the old school wall where all the
crazy.
bike messengers were at selling bud back in the day.
Yeah, dude, it's
Go
crazy.
pull up to the wall, grab a bag. They had the best weed over there. Or the Black Gate on Haight Street, down towards Lower Haight.
Yeah.
Speaking of Haight Street, is Haight Street fucked? I mean, Pink Dolphin bounced. Did you guys officially bounce?
Yeah, we bounced too.
I'm like there alone right now. Like, it's kind of weird. Like,
Black Scale left.
Black Scale left. I'm like, fuck, what happened?
I mean, when I opened the store, see, for me, Diamond is something that I always wanted in the city as a store, because I'm from there, and Haight is somewhere that I used to hang out.
Me too.
When I was a kid, we used to hang out in Lower Haight, and that was like my thing. Like, we'd be on Upper Haight because FTC, but then we'd go hang down at this stoop down on Haight and Fillmore, and we just hang there, and that's where we would be all the time. So when I was going to open a store, I was like, fuck, man, where do I open it in San Francisco? Haight Street. But that was, you know, I opened that store probably 5 or 6 years ago, but San Francisco already changed, and my idea of what Haight Street was
your memory as a kid.
A memory of a kid.
It's not what it is now.
Yeah, so when I opened the store, of course, when we first opened, there's a line and all these people, and I was like, oh, this is dope, you know, because I wasn't spending a lot of time on Haight back then. But then after that, it was like crickets the whole street. Like, I was like, what is going on here? Like, this isn't the Haight Street I remember. It's not like, it's like in LA how Melrose used to be the poppin' spot on the, you know, the between Fairfax and La Brea. Like, that was like how Haight Street was back in the day. And then La Brea is not like that anymore on that area of La Brea. But Haight Street now, it's like nothing, man. It's like I go down there, I would go there to the store, and there'd be like nobody on the street. I'm like, this is a trip, man. But I was also a block down from where you guys are, because you guys, where your store is in Black Scale and Pink Dolphin and all you guys,
like right by
that's like the
Masonic.
more cracking corner, because the bus line's right there.
But it's still not the same. I used to walk down Haight Street, people have nugs on their forehead. Nugs, acid, weed,
exactly.
weed, acid,
Exactly.
dose, E.
It's where young people hung out.
Yeah, it was the shit.
Yeah.
It's
and
different
then
now.
we opened the store, and I realized, man, this isn't the Haight Street that it used to be.
Nah, it's changed.
So I kept it open for 5 years, but it was like we lost money every year there. It was like, it just wasn't worth it. I was like, fuck, man. So I closed it down. But I don't know. I'll maybe open a spot in San Francisco again sometime. I just got to figure it out. Just wasn't worth the time and the effort.
Yeah, it's expensive real estate, and
it's crazy. Yeah, our rent was crazy. It was insane. It was more than double the price of our store in Fairfax.
And the store in Fairfax is chunky too.
Yeah, and the store in Fairfax is like 3 times the size.
Yep. Well, that's the city for you. The shit's expensive and fucking small. Has there been any collabs that you really wanted to do that just haven't happened yet, or is there one that you really want to do? I mean, fuck, you've already done a bunch of big ass ones. Is there something that you want to do, that you want to put out there in the universe with me on the round table for the good listeners? We all
you know, that's crazy, because there really isn't that I think of, unless they're like ones that are like super official high end ones maybe. But we've done a lot of collabs. I feel like I was thinking about that the other day, where I'm like, man, I've done all the ones that I really would care to do, except for the only one that I haven't done that I would love to do is a Jordan brand collab.
That's what I want to hear. That big shit. You got to go big.
Yeah, Jordan's like my favorite. I've been a collector since I was like a kid. I have like
if you do a Diamond Jordan, it's fucking gone.
Yeah, Diamond Jordan would be fucking the ultimate for me. Like,
well, it's now in the universe, so like now put it out there. And we got a bunch of high kids right now out there smoking, riding, chilling in their house, listening, that will put it in the universe as well. I could see a Diamond Jordan. That'd be sick.
I mean, that
high.
would be amazing, man.
Dope.
That'd be the ultimate for me, for the brand, like for just everything, like everything I've done with Diamond. It would be like to end it all, the end all collab. Not that it would end the brand, that I wouldn't continue doing it, but that would be the one where I'd be like,
Jordan got to put some respect on my boy's name. He's
Jordan is. It's just
21
because I'm
years
a
in the
collector,
game. Yeah,
man,
you're a collector, but
it's what I came up.
You know, you're
wearing.
also a big brand, bro. 21 years staying relevant is huge.
Yeah, right on, dude.
That ain't no joke.
Yeah.
Shit comes and goes all the time. You see motherfuckers coming and going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you did Grizzly, like, is Grizzly a partnership or is it something else that you started?
Grizzly's my brand. It's me, Tori Pudwell, and Sean Apgar. We started Grizzly. We were doing it through Diamond for maybe about 3 or 4 years. I did it out of our own distribution. And then when it got to a point where it can hang on its own, we took Grizzly out, and now Grizzly has its own setup, its own employees, everything.
Dope.
So it's still...
I've been watching that thing build and grow too.
Yeah, so, you know, it's just another skate brand. Has some other brands in the works. Nothing that I can really talk about right now, but I'm dropping some stuff.
Well, you gonna stay busy. You're a Frisco cat, man.
Yeah.
It's never enough for us.
Yeah, right on.
You know, once we get the taste of success, we want to keep. You know.
Yeah.
We want to keep going.
Yeah, man.
Well, hell yeah, man. I appreciate you sliding through today to the round table.
Thanks for having me, Berner.
Man, legendary man right here, Nicky Diamonds. We have mutual friends, and like I said, man, it's been a mentor for everything I've done with cookies, and so appreciate the time.
And much respect to you too, man. And
Right
I'm
on,
proud
man.
of you.
Yes, sir. We're going to keep it lit for the city.
Right on.
My G.
Yeah.
If you like what you're hearing, man, make sure you subscribe to the channel.